Now, uh, I want to talk about Kristin Robbins one more time. I'm sure we'll talk about her again because every time I lift up a rock, I go, wow, what's this? But I want to talk about a new friend of mine who I'm working with politically, and he's running a organization called Minnesota First, J.K. Cook. He's an activist here in Minnesota. And, Jay kind of viewed me along the lines of this Terry Nelson rather suspiciously. I don't think he liked me very much. But Jay is an engineer, and Jay is an evidence based guy. And, he started watching the podcasts, and he said, wow, Penn's laying out a case. He's just not talking, he's bringing the receipts. And he actually, uh, you know, let me know that I'm shaking up his world, that he's looking at things in a new way. I'm letting him see the lies. And once you see it for yourself, you don't need any help if you're a researcher. I mean, you got to do your own work. And Jay let me know that I kind of rocked his world with the Kristin Robbins thing. And Jay, I'm sorry I'm using your name without asking you, but you're a model for everybody in the Republican Party and in whatever state. See this hand? I voted for George W. Can you believe I voted for George W. Bush?
Um, I don't know. I wasn't alive when Bush was in
Well, let
office,
me
so I
tell you
really don't
something. You should
understand.
say, yes, I do believe it, and I'm going to tell you why. He was the Republican on the ticket. He was fighting a guy named Al Gore. I'm always going to vote Republican. Where are the 250,000 Republicans that voted for President Trump but didn't vote for Royce White? You see, this bar door is not swinging both ways. The reason why Royce is talked about in the way he is by the party hierarchy is they don't want him as a leader of this party because he is going to topple the current leadership, which is really opposed to the America First movement. So I'm going to vote for the Republican, but you Republicans that are part of the establishment will not vote for Royce White or some of the other people that are emerging, like Steve Boyd, who are more, shall we say, America Firsters. But, going back to this Kristin Robbins, I'm going to give you some more information, Jay, which you can look up. First, you can go online and you can find Kristin Robbins' alumni profile at Bethel University. I'm sure Kristin will ask them to take it down, but you can find it. And, Tanner, you can put that link in the notes to this podcast.
All right,
You
right down
see
in
it
the
there?
description. Just go on down. You'll find the link for it.
And they talk about her history, and they talk about her being involved with the Economic Club of Minnesota. But you'll also find them talking about her sojourn at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the CSIS, a very prominent globalist organization. And why I say globalist? Because there's two kind of politics in the Republican Party. There's nationalism and globalism, and we got to know who these people are. And the nationalists can get easily sucked down the rabbit hole of, we got to win. And the globalists, like Vicki Ernst, using Stephen K. Bannon's Government Gangsters movie to aggregate people, hey, they'll use anything in a storm, but they won't use Royce White. They could use Royce White to get into CD5 and work on the inner city community. But nah, we're not going to do that because Royce swears, for example. They don't like that he swears. But Mary Franson's swearing up a storm now, isn't she?
Yeah.
See, things are changing. They're changing in the America First direction. And if you get involved in politics, go find that committee and go sit there and watch and learn. And when you're ready, join the committee. Become a precinct committee man. This is just as simple as knowing the people in your neighborhood. And when it comes to election day, calling them and making sure they go vote. Identifying the low propensity voters and getting them to the polls. If we do that, we win. Like Tanner was a low propensity voter. Now, I think he's a high propensity voter.
Oh, yeah. I'm showing up for any election I can.
But let me ask you a question. Had you not stumbled into the Professor Penn podcast, do you think you'd be voting?
I don't know. I don't think I would have.
So
I think I probably would have fallen into the Christians that just went, well, God's got me. It's out of my control.
And this is what I'm going to say to Dan Schultz. Dan, this is why we don't just talk about political strategy. because we got to build this audience, build this community, build a mighty wave of people that are going to work together to elect Republicans. But back to Kristin Robbins, whose career I want to see, and I'd like her to go back and work at one of these organizations which seem to want to hire her, like the Economic Club, or she worked at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Please pop up number 4. There it is. It looks very official. Could you please put up the Board of Trustees and Counselors? Click that link, go down, there it is, and we'll start scrolling through here. Let's start looking at these names and faces. Oh, look at these people. Keep going, so I keep going. Stop right there. There's Erskine Bowles, former elected official. Brendan Bechtel. Oh, there's a defense contractor. William S. Cohn used to be a defense secretary. Yes, Leon Cooperman, very wealthy. Let's go up a little bit farther. There's William Daley. He was the chief of staff under guess who? President Barack Obama. Ray Dalio, noted billionaire. Let's keep on going down. There's even more. There's more. There's former executive director Henrietta Foray of UNICEF. UNICEF, United Nations, well represented here. There's Evan Greenberg of Chubb Insurance. Let's keep going, keep scrolling. Wait, there's more. There's more. Who do we got on? Keep going. We're going to get to Paul Ryan here sooner or later. There he is, Paul Ryan. You see that smiling face? I used to think he should be president before I realized what a weenie he was. There's Leon Panetta. You see him up in the upper right-hand corner? Former Secretary of Defense, former director of the CIA. I saw him. You know, when I last saw Leon Panetta, I was in the room with them. He was sitting there with Nikki Haley, and the two of them were discussing politics hand in glove. Nikki Haley, Leon Panetta. But guess what? Leon Panetta is supposedly a Democrat, and Nikki Haley supposedly a Republican. Yet they were conversing and agreeing about everything. How can that be? There must be some other description that works, like, oh, I don't know, globalist and nationalist. There's Bob Schieffer, formerly of CBS News. Let's keep scrolling, see if any other happy faces pop up here. So this group of people are the trustees of this organization, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, where Kristin worked. Now, I wouldn't work with people like this. I wouldn't, because I have principles. See, if you have principles, you don't hang around with people you don't agree with. And they're all entitled to their opinion. They're American citizens. I am not impugning these people personally. I'm saying, where are we, the everyday people? Because there's hundreds of millions of us and a handful of them, yet their political philosophy is prevailing because what are we doing? We're going to soccer on Saturday. I don't take that personal. But, you know, we got other things to do. These people have one thing to do, which is bring about global governance. Now, who funds this organization? Well, let me tell you who the number one funder is. Oh, that'd be the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Kristin, you were working at an organization and it's funded by Bill Gates. If you're an American firster or you don't really understand this and you're a Republican and you're just hating on me, how do you feel about Bill Gates? Is he a favorite? How about Dr. Fauci? Are these favorites of yours? Because if they are, you're entitled to think that way. And that's cool. I don't think that way. And there's a lot of Republicans that don't. I think there's more Republicans in this country and in Minnesota that do not support Bill Gates than support Bill Gates. Here's the Carnegie Corporation. Look them up for a blast. The Dalio Foundation, the Ford Foundation. Oh, look at this. The Open Society Foundation supports the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Tanner, have you ever heard of the Open Society Foundation?
No.
You know who runs that? Who's that belongs to?
Who?
George Soros.
Oh, nice.
So here's Kristin Robbins working at an organization funded by George Soros. And look up the Sequoia Climate Foundation, Stanford University. Here's a communist organization to the max, the Tides Foundation. Here's a depopulationist group, the William Hewlett Foundation. The Henry Luce Foundation is here, the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. I mean, this is who's funding this organization. You can go to this website, which Tanner will put the link in the notes to the podcast, and then Start looking up these organizations and their histories and what they're into. Harvard University funds it. They're at war with the Trump administration. International Labor Organization funds it. King's College of London funds it. The Rockefeller Foundation funds it. Look up the history of the Rockefeller Foundation. Well, look at this. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Hey, how you like that? Corporate donors include Amazon, Aramco, Bank of America, Chevron Corporation, ExxonMobil. Oh, I'm sure these people are pro-climate change, right? Uh, these are the climate people. Chevron, ExxonMobil, FedEx. Here's a couple defense contractors, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Pratt, Boeing. Oh, here's Cargill, a nice Minnesota corporation. This is an organization that's funded by globalist organizations. Bechtel, BAE, ConocoPhillips. How about countries? Can you imagine an organization funded by countries like the government of the United States, government of Japan, government of South Korea, Taiwan, government of Australia, government of Norway, government of Qatar, government of the United Arab Emirates? Oh, another funder. Listen to this. The United Nations funds this organization.
How can they? That's legal
It's very legal.
for an outside country to directly donate to a campaign.
That Kristin, not a campaign, an organization.
The CSIS.
Which Kristin Robbins worked for, allegedly, according to her Bethel University alumni bio, which may not be true. I mean, I have to be so careful. I'm going to say, Kristin, hey, if the bio's not right, come on the show and tell me about it. And you're going to say, well, I just had a job there. Well, I don't think I'm going to get a job working for the Ku Klux Klan. They hire people.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to work for the Ku Klux Klan. I'm almost sure I'm not going to do that. Government of the United Kingdom. Oh, NATO threw in on this deal. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Government of Canada, the government of France, government of Germany, government of New Zealand, government of Netherlands, government of Philippines, Lithuania, Vietnam. You know what? These people are entitled to do this. Their interests are not my interests. I'm interested in medical freedom, food freedom, religious freedom, economic freedom. That's what I'm interested in. Freedom. These people are into control and the organization of resources for their benefit. They are not looking out for me. They're looking to rule over me. And they are in charge of me. I am inventory in their economic model. And all we need to do to overcome this is go down to our local Republican Party meeting and start to vote. And when you do that, you become a delegate, and then you say who the party endorses, and that means something. And let's start endorsing everyday people. Now, Kristin is going to say, and some of the people in the hierarchy are going to say, well, these people are not qualified. Like Vicki Ernst at the last state convention said Royce Weiss was qualified with reservations. They had reservations about him. Why? I don't know why. Who are you to say, Vicki, that you have reservations about Royce White? I don't think that's right. I don't think it's okay. I want everyday citizens. And why? Because these people that are at the center, the CSIS center, these people, look what they've done to the world. Look at the evidence. That's what I'm saying to Jay and to Terry Nelson and all the rest of you are listening. I don't want to fight with you. These people, look at their outcomes. Like you send your kid to school. Like I got kids go to college, okay? It's expensive, $100,000 a year. If you get D's, I'm not paying for it. If you get C's, I'm not paying for it. As a matter of fact, if you get B's, I'm not paying for it. Because for that kind of money, you better go get an A, okay? A minus, B plus. You got to show me you're working at it. Don't just have an experience, right?
Right.
You're going to send your daughter to school someday.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for it if she's getting D's?
Probably not.
Wouldn't that
If I can tell that she's screwing around and it's not her just trying her hardest but can't seem to pull a higher grade, I will probably stop paying you.
What if she's trying her hardest and she's getting a D? Maybe she doesn't need to be in college.
Yeah.
Look at what these people have done to our world. These governments and these curated people that are so experienced, so educated. Look at the outcome. We're $37 trillion in debt, war my entire lifetime, all kinds of systemic problems throughout our culture, man, it's just awful.